Hello, I'm Emily and I'm an educator at MOHAI, and this is Collection Connections, Objects in Question. This time, we're going to be taking a look at an artifact on display at the museum to see what it can tell us about the past. We're going to be exploring aviation innovations with the B-1 seaplane, which is the oldest Boeing plane that still exists. What questions do you have right away? I have two. And my first one is, who or what is Boeing? Today, Boeing is one of the largest aerospace manufacturers in the world, and the company got its start right here in Seattle in the early 1900s. William Bill Boeing was an industrialist who made his money in timber and became fascinated with aviation after attending the Alaska-Yukon Pacific Exposition in 1909. He started taking flying lessons, and eventually that led to an interest in building his own planes. Now, my second question is, if this is the oldest Boeing plane that still exists, does that mean that it's the first? And the answer is no. So that belongs to the B&W seaplane, but the B-1 was still part of an important first, and we're going to see if we can figure that out. What do you see or notice right away about this airplane? The first thing that I notice is that it looks like a seaplane. So it's got some pontoons over there on the ends of the wings, which I usually see somewhere on a seaplane. I also notice that it has a boat-shaped bottom, which makes me think of water. And another thing that I notice as I look at the bottom is that there aren't any wheels, which are really important for landing on land. Speaking of parts and pieces, I also noticed that this is a biplane. So it's got two sets of wings, an upper and a lower wing on both sides. And I see an engine kind of sitting towards the top of the plane. And on the back side is the propeller, which is interesting. And it looks like that cockpit is totally open. So it's just two holes. We can't quite see what it looks like in those holes, but there's no enclosure of any kind. What colors or markings do you notice? So from here, the underside of the plane looks almost like a natural wood color, but when we move up closer and underneath the plane, we can see that it's painted gold, which is neat. And then the rest of the body of the plane is painted green. We've also got silver wings, and we've got a little bit of red along the bottom of the engine. And then we've got some white letters on the side that say US Mail, and another set of letters and numbers on the tail. What materials do we see or notice? The underside of the body of the plane looks like wood, so the body's made from wood, and those wings look silver, so we might think that they're made of metal, but they're actually made from fabric. So they're made out of cotton or linen fabric that's been coated in linseed oil to make them a little bit sturdier, which is really interesting. And then the main wood that was used for building both the wings and the bodies of planes at this time was spruce, because it was really lightweight, which made it great for flying planes. We've also got the engine, which is made out of metal, and there are also some other metal wires and pieces that are kind of holding all of these different things together. Where does it go, and what was it used for? And so kind of taking a look at the fact that it's a seaplane and that it says US Mail, I'm guessing that this was used to travel from one body of water to another for the purposes of carrying mail. And we were right. So the B-1 didn't make the very first international mail flight ever, but it was used for the first regularly scheduled international mail route. From 1920 to 1927, the B-1 was flown over 1,000 trips between Seattle and Victoria, BC, and it never lost a single piece of mail in that time. The B-1 took off and landed right here on Lake Union, which is where Boeing's first hangar was located, near the end of Roanoke Street. By the time this plane was built, Boeing was hiring employees to help build his planes. So this plane was designed by Wang Su, who is Boeing's first trained engineer, who is a graduate from MIT and originally from China. And then the body and the wings of the plane would have been built by carpenters, and he usually hired people who were also familiar with building boats since he was making seaplanes. And the wings would have been sewn together by seamstresses. You can still watch seaplanes take off and land on Lake Union today, just outside the museum. The park outside is also home to lots of water birds that have special adaptations for flying and moving around on and underwater that you can observe. Looking for something to do a little bit closer to home? Explore properties of flight by testing out different airplane models to see how accurate and fast they are, or to see which ones can stay in the air the longest or go the furthest. You can also explore the MOHAI online collection through our website at mohai.org. That's mohai.org. Thanks for watching.